So this year I've tried to do a bit better job of having a nice continuity of potatoes all year round, and we certainly had a really lovely crop of new potatoes early in the season, sort of April, May time. We had some really nice big sort of main crop baking potato size in May and June and July, and now we're just starting to harvest our main crops. Now we've got about 40 tubs of potatoes in total. Pretty much all of our plants have finished or are 2 or 3 weeks away from finishing now. So we're just stacking the tubs up and storing the potatoes in those tubs until the cool weather arrives, so September, October time, and then we'll probably start harvesting them and keeping them in the store. But it's been a better year in general, although it is a bit early, sort of middle of August, to have our main crops finishing. I'm hopeful that the yield from them will still be acceptable. I'm going to take a look at one of the tubs and we'll see what we've got, and basically we'll be harvesting 1 tub a year until the new crop arrive, so about May time. So I like to harvest into a barrow, and we grow almost all of my potatoes in these big containers. This is one of the bigger ones. I've only got a few of these. Most of them I'm harvesting out of 30, sort of 35 litre ones. Now this is pretty wet, and actually the yield doesn't look that great, but I don't want to prejudge things. But these are quite small as potatoes go so far. I mean, they're perfectly edible, but we do like a nice mix of large and small ones. And right now it seems like we're getting most of the small ones, but this only has to last us a week, and I don't eat potatoes, so it's really just Debbie and the kids. And this is one of my youngest containers as well. So we've only been, I think I planted this one in May, whereas some of the others were planted to the middle of April time. I am refilling these containers with the compost because I want to plant leeks in them. I've got some nice baby leeks which will be harvested for well, basically like a spring onion really. So it's quite difficult to get good sized spring onions in September and October, and so leeks are hopefully going to fill that gap, along with little sweet bulbing onions that we'll have as well. So the ones you've just seen me harvest were the Salamira, and then these are going to be the Cara. I gotta say, I'm hoping that I get some better sized potatoes out of the Cara, because those were very small out of the Salamira one. It can be a bit nerve-wracking growing your own potatoes when you rely on them for the whole of the year. You're never quite sure what you're going to get. Oh, thank goodness for that. We've got some good sized, smallish but big enough for baking potatoes In fact, most of them are big enough for baked potatoes, so I'm going to get these harvested. But yeah, I'm really happy to see those. This is the first time we've grown Cara, but we're always looking for a potato with good blight resistance for our main crops, and Cara is fairly good, not quite as good perhaps as South America, but good. And we're kind of giving up, I think, on South America, because although the yield is quite good, the size isn't so good in containers in the way that we grow them, which is just straight onto the patio rather than buried in the ground, so that the roots get more nutrients and water. And obviously we can't do that because we're just putting them on patio. And so yeah, not so bad. All of these are really good sizes, so the combination of the two actually looks like it's going to work out quite well. The really good yield of medium to small sized potatoes from the South America, and the really big Caras. So yeah, I'm really pleased about that. So I'll just tip these out, just give them a rinse off. It's quite a comparison. So these were both grown on 2 seed potatoes. And so those look really nice. The quality of all of them is excellent. I'll weigh them just for fun, since I hardly ever do a potato reveal, but I'm actually more interested in getting those leeks sown. And so for completeness, I'll just harvest some of the new potatoes, the Charlottes, strictly as sown early, but they're a very versatile potato. These, you can use them for all sorts of things. Just beautiful. The small ones are a great salad potato, and the big ones are a really nice baking potato. So I shall get on with harvesting these. And so basically these are the 3 different types of potatoes that we've got, and we will be mixing and matching these over the next 3 weeks. These are really nice, they're coming out really well. Of all the potatoes that we've harvested today, these are the favourite ones really. But this is again just 2 tubers in a 30-litre container. But yeah, these are gorgeous, just the perfect size. My next door neighbour says that they really need to be egg-sized. That's her requirement. So I'm just refilling these containers. I get lots of questions about what we do with the spent potato compost. And basically what we're doing this time is we're going to use this for baby leeks to be harvested in autumn, and then we're going to put garlic in, planted at really high density, so basically a bulb per container, which is about, I don't know, 10, 14 garlic cloves, something like that, and that will be harvested for green garlic in May. And then we'll probably scrap the compost at that point and use it as a mulch on the back garden beds, and and then that's how it'll live out its life as a mulch. So I'm pretty much finished with that now. And there's my baby leeks, and these are poor Bella, and there's 2, 3, sometimes 4, but mainly 3 leeks per module. And so I'm just going to pop these straight in to these containers just with my fingers. And these should be lovely. These should grow away really nicely. So there we go, that's the leeks. Still got a few left over. I'll just put those in the next tub that comes available. So I'm pretty pleased with those. And they're certainly a lot further on than the equivalent spring onions, so they should give me a much earlier crop. There's the end result. So that's 3 weeks supply of potatoes for us and the rest of the family. And basically, if we ever just go short, then the rest of the family goes short, and we don't. We always like to grow an intentional surplus. So I'm just going to try, see if I can weigh these. So these are the Charlottes, 2 tubers, 2.244 kilos. So that's 1.1 kilo per tuber, which is nowhere near my best, but it's not too bad. So about just over £2 a tuber. Let's leave it on pounds for the moment. So I lost the last bit of the weighing video for some reason. But the results were that we got 3.1 pounds per tuber for the carver, 2.1 pounds per tuber for the Charlottes, and 2.1 pounds per tuber for the Sarpamira. And so this is a test basically to see whether we've got sufficient potatoes to last us until the new crop arrives in May. And this is what we'll be eating every 3 weeks. So a really nice mix. I think I'm really happy with those. Yeah, it could be bigger, but it doesn't need to be bigger. So yeah, that's great. My name's Steve. This is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.